So, Coach Larsen, the season's ended now. How did the season go from your perspective?
It was a season of ups and downs, which you can say just about any season has its ups and downs and things like that. I was really proud of the way our girls battled, and we just had a lot of adversity this year, just being kind of struck by injuries and players that were brought in to play certain roles all of a sudden are getting different roles and asking to play more minutes, and there's always an adjustment when a player goes down and things like that. And it was a success in terms of we were able to develop our players. They played hard. We got to the Region 9 tournament, into the Final 8, and we battled. And I couldn't ask for a better outcome considering the adversity that we hit. And it's one of those things of why you kind of get into business is a little bit of life lessons. And you're going to hit adversity through your life, and to be able to see it in a season and to overcome it like we did, I can be real happy with how our season went.
You talk about the adversity that you faced with the injuries, and the injuries to Tawny. She was out for a lot of the season.
Yep.
The injury to Lucy towards kind of the middle part of the season, and then obviously Luna didn't even play at all. How much of an impact did that make to your original tactics for the beginning of the season?
Well, originally you kind of, as you're penciling players in, Luna was our leading returner. She was all conference last year. A lot was built around her and what she does, and then Lucy kind of finding her role in that starting lineup and what she was able to do and how talented she is. And Tawny just brings a level of physicality and toughness and grit at that forward spot. And so to lose those three for, two of them for the year and one for a vast majority of the year, and just watch our players who weren't used to bringing those types of intangibles. A lot of credit goes to Lambert for stepping into Luna's shoes and filling them in a really big way, leading us in scoring when she needed to, leading us in assists when she needed to, being a point of attack defender, Bowden coming from volleyball, jumping in with 2 feet, and did a lot to kind of save our season in terms of just having that point guard depth and having somebody there that can shoot it and steady and plays hard and everything like that. And then just Allie stepping back into another leadership role like she did last year, and being honorable mention all conference last year and being honorable mention all conference again this year, putting more on Yai, her plate as a freshman, to see her just expand her game and take the reins. And then Nikki, who's not used to playing the 5 spot, just jumping into that role and blossoming in it and being all conference this year. It was a lot of fun.
And you talk about the fact that you had people that had to step in certain roles that maybe they weren't used to. How much of an impact did did more minutes make for that team? Because the basketball schedule is hectic, as everyone watching will know. You have a match more or less every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Those added minutes, how much of an impact does that actually make on the squad?
You can see it take its toll at certain times. Every player wants to say they'll play every minute, and then when you're playing the second game of a back-to-back, or you're playing 6 games in 10 days and it's game 6 and you're on a back-to-back, then you start looking at that. I don't know if I want to play the 30, 40 minutes that it's going to take. But it's one of those things that you just kind of have to figure out as you go. And you can see early on it took its toll as players were figuring it out. And we didn't have the more definable success in terms of wins, losses early on. And then as everybody kind of hit a rhythm late in the first half of the season, we went on I think we won 8 out of 9, 9 out of 10. Something like that, and we were scoring tons, and our assists were up, and it was a lot of fun. And then coming back, being sick and injured, and playing our first couple of games with 6 or 7, and now players are playing excess minutes. And then as players start to come back, them trying to adjust again and doing it on the fly, it takes a real toll on how the body is able to operate and withstand all that stuff, especially as you get into conference play. And our players just showed a lot of grit and resilience as we went, and a lot of toughness.
And just touching on the Region 9 tournament, obviously made the first round. You got through the first round okay. Two lots of overtime.
That's an understatement to say that we made it through okay. 63 points in a double overtime game, for a team that we were averaging close to 70 points in regulation and to only score 63. But, going up to Northwest for a first round game, 6.5 hour drive, they do a really good job. They play a really funky zone, and they mix it up and they keep you guessing and they keep you out of rhythm. Hostile environment, and our girls did a great job of, I think the first time we went up there and we lost, we were really concerned about the offense not working up there. And again, the offense didn't work up there when we were playing them, but defensively, we really showed our grit and our toughness, and we showed some teeth, and we completely locked them down. And you could tell they were getting frustrated, and so it was going to come down to a matter of wills, and we really made some big shots when we needed to move on. And
then getting through that, you then went to Western Nebraska, where you unfortunately lost 65-55. But overall, through that game, how did you feel like they played?
Man, that's a high level game. Even in a 65-55 loss. We were up 23-22 at half. I mean, it was a defensive battle from both teams. It was not like we weren't getting good shots. It's not like they weren't getting good shots. But we were both doing enough defensively to make those shots that we, normally would like and we could hit. We did enough to make those out of rhythm or rushed or whatever the case may be. And it was just kind of a little spurt in the third quarter where they kind of spread us out a little bit. We stopped getting to some of the details late in that third quarter, early in that fourth quarter, and they had a couple of girls who just caught fire in that, and that's what you're always afraid of, is because you're gonna have lapses. It's just part of the game. That's how runs happen. You just hope that the other team, if you go into one of those lapses where you miss an assignment or you don't load all the way or you miss a principle, that, okay, maybe this is a time that they miss because they haven't been in rhythm all game. And to their credit, man, their little point guard and their wing, they hit those shots when they needed. But, to see players like Z and Yai and Allie just come right back and battle and keep it close all the way till some free throws at the end, we were there.
And looking forward towards next year, how are you feeling about your recruiting? How is that going?
You're always cautious. You're cautiously optimistic until they show up and you see the whites of their eyes and you see everything that you got. But with Yai and Ari and Lucy coming back off of an injury and Rhea coming back 1 year better, coming and bringing back that kind of experience this year, and that growth this year to the players that we've already signed. And the ones that we're going after, if we can continue to do what we're doing, I'm going to feel really excited. We'll continue to just get better and continue to improve the look and feel, and year by year just keep getting better. We've done it from year 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, and from 3 to 4. Now it's, can we continue to add some athleticism and continue to add length and do what we've been doing.
And just finally, just getting your perspective on next year. What have you learned from this year? What are you going to take into next year to try and improve your chances?
Stay healthy. That's what you got. It's a good question. You're always kind of reflecting, and I'm hoping to take the next couple of weeks now that the season's over and decompress and really reflect on what worked, what didn't. Kind of start our board in terms of the pieces that we have coming back and coming in, and what that will look like offensively. Will that change the way we play a little bit? But really continuing to put an emphasis on the defensive side, doing what we do, showing that toughness and grit, and trying to get there a little bit sooner than what we did this year. But part of that is, again, if we are healthy, we probably get to being tougher and grittier and a little bit earlier, just because we have the pieces and everybody's a little bit more comfortable. But you can't really control those things, and so it's just continuing to push forward and and trying to get that 1% better every single day and pushing the girls to get there. But, you know, I like who we have coming back. I like who we've got coming in, and we're definitely going to miss the leadership of these sophomores that we had this year.
Coach Larsen, thank you so much, and well done on a good season.
Appreciate it.